Welcome to the luxury world. Get inspired with us today and tomorrow. New watches can be exciting, but the discontinued models each year are often just as important, especially for Rolex. Virtually none of the brand's timepieces are available at a retail level. Still, as long as they remain in production, the number of examples in existence rises each year. And there's always that chance that your authorized retailer may contact you. However, if a Rolex timepiece is discontinued, that model is undoubtedly gone for good, and you will have to pay open market prices to add one to your collection. Watchmakers can't sell every watch they create endlessly due to the nature of the business. While it's disappointing to see your favorite models phased out of production and consigned to the gray market, where prices are increasing due to the limited number of Rolexes being supplied at the moment, it provides room for new timepieces and replacements. Alternatively, timepieces can be the victims of their own success and generate waiting lists so long that watchmakers prefer to discontinue them instead of being trapped making them for the next 20 years. Despite only joining the Rolex Oyster Perpetual collection a year and a half ago in September 2020, several of the ultra-popular multicolored dials were discontinued this year as well. Not all dial colors were available for every case size when they were first produced, but the number of selections has significantly dropped this year. At the height of the current zeitgeist, one incredibly trendy watch that's being phased out is the Tiffany Blue Oyster Perpetual 41mm. Before we say goodbye to the OP watch, let's first appreciate its beauty that captured many of us. The stunning turquoise dial is designed in the Rolex Oyster Perpetual signature style, with an understated dial layout and excellent visibility. The dial and case are wonderfully complemented by the applied hour markers, classically formed hands, and the famous Rolex crown at 12 o'clock. The OP36 has a very small case measuring 36mm in diameter, 12mm in height, and 43mm from lug to lug. The wristwatch wears more like a 38mm to 39mm watch due to the 43mm lug-to-lug distance, which is excellent for my wrist and taste. Another sweet spot they reached was the oyster steel casing. Oyster steel is a special alloy produced by the brand that belongs to the 904L steel family, which is extensively used in high-tech, aerospace, and chemical industries. The oyster steel is highly durable, has a beautiful appearance when polished, and feels great on the wrist. However, oyster steel isn't exclusively employed in this situation. This unique material is also used in the iconic oyster bracelet, which you can feel when you wear one. When you look inside the dial, you'll notice that the batten indices are considerably raised and beautifully polished. The Rolex logo is perfectly applied and relatively big, while the rehaut engravings are sharp, clean, and understated. While the dial appears to have a matte surface at first glance, closer inspection reveals that it is lacquered. It's pretty unusual and physically appealing, from the white gold battens to the lengthy gleaming hands to the subtle sparkle on the damp black writing that says Rolex Oyster Perpetual. The color combination as well as the contrast of shine and matte is fantastic. Rolex's Oyster Perpetual also has naturally smooth, clean shapes that are also beautiful. With flawlessly rectangular indices and lume plots, it features a rounded bezel and a rounded casing. All of these elements harmonize and create an attractive watch. Furthermore, the bezel slightly overlaps the top of the bracelet and the top of the case side, almost as if they weren't supposed to be together. We're not quite sure if this is intentional or just a minor design flaw. It's tiny and not a deal breaker. The color is absolutely one of a kind and stunning. Many of you for sure have attempted to match colors, but nothing comes close. Compared to Tiffany's box, it's somewhat more relaxed, less saturated, and bluer than a real Tiffany. It's near, but Tiffany Blue has a slight green tint. We'd love to compare it to a vintage Rolex with a Stella dial, but despite the fact that they both appear to have lacquered dials, we believe this dial will be a more delicate turquoise than the Stella. The color does vary a little bit depending on the lighting, and it changes from nearly a sky blue to a Tiffany blue, then to a soft turquoise. We attempted to take as many pics as possible in various lighting to help see this. However, Rolex named it turquoise blue, having the nickname the Tiffany might be a nod to Rolex's past relationship with the luxury brand. This connection alone places this particular watch up to be a surefire future classic. Overall, we would say the color does have a bit of a feminine aura, but so is a Porsche. So surely it could be rocked both by men and women. The remarkable shade of light blue has grabbed many watch collectors even more than usual following the launch of the Tiffany Blue Nautilus 5711 1A018. With the numbers of the Nautilus overly limited, collectors have tried to look to other brands to fill the light blue gap in their collections. Alongside the 41mm light blue, a whole host of other colorful Oyster Perpetuals of various sizes are gone too. The coral red version is completely gone at 41mm, 36mm, and 31mm, and it's the same story for the yellow. Whenever Rolex brings in new watches to its collection, they will inevitably discontinue some of the models we love. And anytime the brand upgrades its catalog, the action influences the entire Rolex watch market. The good thing is discontinued models are becoming increasingly collectible, with collectors now categorizing characteristics of specific discontinued models in the same way they would with vintage Rolexes. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments section. And as we end today's episode, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and we'll see you again in the next video.